Welcome back to Grow It's Free Training. I'm Purnima Vijay Shankar, the founder of Femgineer. As a founder for a startup, it's very tempting to get obsessed with your competitor, or sometimes you might feel like you don't have any competition. Now, in this lesson, I'm going to share a few mistakes I see founders make over and over again as they think about who their competitors are or whether they actually have competition. Mistake number one, thinking that you don't have any competition. This is actually a bad sign. If you don't think you have competition and you tell an investor that, they are immediately going to think that you're introducing a product into a brand new market. And to them, that's really risky. The reason it's risky is because it means that you're going after customers who aren't aware that they have a problem. It's going to take a lot of capital to evangelize and build awareness, and they may or may not adopt it. Having a competitor, though, sends a clear signal that there is a market, and maybe you offer a different value proposition or go after a different customer segment. That is something that investors are okay with. Mistake number two is getting overly obsessive with your competitor, but not fully understanding the ins and outs of what they do and why they do it. So I see a lot of founders from time to time getting obsessed about the features and the press releases, but they don't fundamentally understand how their competitor's business operates, meaning what's the experience that they offer to their customer end to end. That could be their onboarding, their pricing, their marketing, even how they give refunds. And the reason that that's important is because the more you understand it, the more you know how to differentiate yourself. So it doesn't mean that you go head to head with them. It just shows how you can position yourself relative to what they're offering as a value. Mistake number three, thinking that you can poach your competitors' customers. Now remember, if their customers are happy and love their product, it's going to be really hard to woo them away and convince them to switch. So instead, you want to focus on going after neglected segments. People who your competitors might not service today or may not even know they exist because they're up and coming. If you can focus on these neglected segments, then they're going to love the fact that you're taking care of them and go on to evangelize your product. It's going to be such an easier sale compared to trying to poach competitors' customers. Mistake number four, and I see this happen a lot with technical folks, is thinking that you need to differentiate based on features rather than the value of your complete offering. Right? I see this time and time again where founders want to achieve parity or offer a better feature than their competition. But the truth is that customers come to you because they're looking for the entire experience. Meaning, just like I said before, how do you price? How do you sell to them? How do you think about servicing them? And all of this is valuable. So, for example, if your competition offers a contract, maybe you offer flexible pricing. If your competitor doesn't have a way of getting contact information, maybe you offer a great customer service. When you do these things to differentiate based on value, that's when you get loyalty, and that's how you get more customers than your competition. Mistake number five, and this one is often overlooked. Seeing your competitors as competition and purely competition, when really they're potential acquirers. And what I mean by potential acquirers is that if there is competition in the space and they are a big competitor, investors love that because that is somebody that may potentially acquire you once you start eating their lunch, or if you're just going after another segment that they might not have the expertise that you have to serve. Now, to give you a simple example, back in my Mint days, we actually had Scott Cook, who was the founder of Intuit, on our advisory board. One of Scott Cook's first products was Quicken, and that was in direct competition with our product, Mint. The benefit of having Scott on the board is it added to our credibility. Now, it's not like we shared our entire roadmap and all the nitty-gritty secrets, but what we did do was have him on the board, get some advice on our direction, and tell him about where we were headed. And finally, when it came down to acquisition talks, Scott helped us seal the deal. So think about approaching your competitors, and I'm not saying you have to get them as advisors, but at least develop a friendly rapport with them because you never know when you're going to need them to advance your business. Now, I have a challenge for you. I'd like to know in the comments below, have you been making any of these 5 mistakes? And how are you going to rethink your competition? Are you going to go after a different segment than them, maybe a neglected one? Or maybe you're going to think of them as a potential acquirer? Let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to reading them.